Hello and welcome to the final edition of All In for 2024. I tried to get in early and catch Dino doing his hair down to his, nearly halfway down his back. It's looking very good, the main Dino. Welcome, mate.
G'day, Louis. Last episode of the year, boy. It's been a massive spring, one of my favourite springs yet. Louis had a breakout season. It's only taken him 6. Gano's been terrific. Yeah, good racing, and it's a big weekend to finish. I thought sort of last week was it, but you look at the cards and look at the races this week, and it continues. You got the Hunter, you got the Gong couple of weeks, so racing just pushes on, boys.
Hey, lads, there's some big performances over the spring. We'll cover off the Spring Carnival soon before we take a look at the 1,000 Guineas, Max Lee's Classic, Spring Stakes, the Hunter, the Beaufort, Sir Rupert Clarke. I don't know, there's even a New Zealand Guineas there we could have a chat about, but we'll find your winner for sure, no doubt, no doubt. Some big performances on Saturday via Sistina Hughes. She regressed a little bit from that rating, but you'd expect just as much. I thought she was really impressive. Shame to see Pride of Jenny end her career the way she did. We won't go into it too much, but I think her desire to race may have sort of been gone, even so up in Sydney there when she was a little bit slow out of the gates and just didn't really have what she normally had, and then Charwolf came over the top. So I think she played a really pivotal role in getting people engaged in racing, newcomers engaged in racing, especially over the autumn. And while she probably won't go down as a genuine superstar of the turf, she did a fantastic job. So, and got a lot of people interested in a time where we thought, geez, the sports might be going through a bit of a lull. Certainly wasn't. We were down there. Dino was down there. I was down there myself a little bit. Louis was obviously holding the fort, working. Some of us have to actually do that occasionally. But Flemington was absolutely pumping. Dino, the majors, Switzerland got the job done. Knight's Choice, wowee. So much going on. What was your highlight of the spring? Carnival, whatever, Saturday? Talk me through it.
Yeah, it's sort of like a Cox Plate out market, isn't it? I think everyone's probably is the Cox Plate.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again. I just thought the whole carnival and all was terrific. What was my favourite win? What did I love most? I sort of loved the win at Brightside in Champions, the Champions Mile. I just think it just showed that he isn't probably the most brilliant horse, but what he has is longevity and consistency. He can put himself on the bunny, wet or dry. It doesn't really matter too much for him. I think it just showed that longevity on a day where we saw Pride of Jenny retire, we saw Via Sistina place brilliantly. I think it's not just having a good horse. I think it's a lot more than that. So I love that win, but Louis, Cox Plate was my favourite. What's yours?
Yeah, I have to agree with the Cox Plate. It's funny. I reckon Mr. Brightside's going to be one that we speak of, a couple of years down the track, plenty of years down the track. Is he or is he not a champion? 8 Group 1s and an All-Star Mile and longevity, as you mentioned, Dino. And the fact is that a lot of people probably won't ever put him in that bracket of the top horses they've ever seen on the track, which is just quite incredible given his CV. So, yeah, I'm with you. That was a great win. Robbie Dolan taking out the Melbourne Cup. That's all recency bias, obviously, of what happened in the last week. I'm sure when I sit down and go through all the last few months, there'll be stuff at the start of the Spring Carnival that was equally as good. And it's a great weekend to see it out, as you boys mentioned. You come off the back of Cup Week and you go, that's got to be it, surely. And then bang into 2 Group 1s in Melbourne and some really good provincial area racing with city class horses in Sydney going to the Hunter for Group 2 status, which is just unreal to see.
Thought I was going to have the week off, lads. I thought I might just be feet up after a big Spring Carnival, sleep deprivation, late flights, and you name it, we've done it all. And a few vodkas along the way. But here we are, just backing up like the good ones do. Mr. Brightside, we had him penned as probably, needed a wet track. I think he just had another string to his bow. It was unbelievable. I definitely got the horse wrong. I thought I had him penned like that anyway, so full credit to Team Hayes. Those boys are just flying. An exceptional job for a young group of gentlemen that are, just continue to raise the bar, and it's just phenomenal.
2-year-olds and older horses, everything, isn't it? They don't miss in between,
and they're not one-dimensional.
Feather in a cap too. No, exactly.
At all. Like the way that the horses run and race, and the profiles of the horses, they're each horse is unique, and they're just doing a super job. So. Really, really good. Fellas, question without notice. Best sprinting performance. I think on rating, Switzerland probably just takes that. I probably would have Bella Nipotina on top, but then what she did at Flemington was only okay, and I felt like that race sort of rated a little bit lower than expectations. Give us your best sprinter of the Spring Carnival, Louis.
I think it is Bella Nipotina. I am easily forgiving of her down the straight. She doesn't have a straight track record, so to be only beaten a lip there, albeit low rating, that's fine. You just have to look what she's doing around a bend.
Yeah.
For me, so I would put her at the top to sit 3 wider than Everest and win and be so strong to win as well, not lie down when gear kicks kind of coming at you from the inside. And that was probably the one, I think. Don't know what happened on Saturday, but Bellatrix Star is certainly one to follow.
Long prep.
Yeah, exactly. Long prep.
Yeah.
Long prep. Switzerland, great to see at his best down the straight as well. And then you kind of got to look, well, where do they go overseas with a few of these? I mean, there's Hong Kong racing coming up, and then obviously you've always got to look forward to Ascot. If you're taking a horse internationally, that's not something that happens the week of. That's a long-term plan. So it'll be interesting to see if we see any go over there and join Stormboy, who calls it home now.
Dino?
Yeah, I'd say Bella. It's interesting. I think the debate's just purely on the fact of a straight around a bend. She's obviously just a 2 to 3 length better horse around a bend. She was still pretty good on the weekend. Like, I don't think that far outside was where you wanted to be honest.
Yeah, that was
probably the spot to be.
That flipped the script, didn't it, really?
Yeah. I think Pisanello's was probably the horse that stands out. Drawn gate 1 last day, last race, and you just go, can't win. And then you got to the end of the day, and it's the right spot. So, she's the best for me. Switzerland's interesting. We probably were teased with his ability around a turn this prep. He obviously failed first up, ridden incorrectly, then won really impressively up in Sydney around a bend, but that was all we saw to see. And then I think he's just gone to a massive complete new level, winning the Coolmore. So he could be the best, but we'll wait and see what he sort of does. Maybe he's a horse that they do take overseas. I wouldn't be surprised. Coolmore connections, they'll probably target up Ascot as well, but Bella for me, Gannon.
Yeah, they'll definitely target Ascot with Stormboy anyway, I imagine. So, really interesting, really exciting. Autumn coming up. Here we are, a few months away again, and we're talking about what can happen next. So that's a great game of racing. Just on, obviously, middle distance, stay for Sistina. Like, I don't think we've seen a better middle distance stayer for a very, very long time. Those two performances, the Cox Plate and then the last run on Saturday, were enormous, fellas. Any disagreements there?
No, but I will say I'm really keen to see Chairwolf in the autumn, and if they can do battle together throughout a campaign. How good is that? Because obviously, probably at this stage, Via Sistine is the better horse, but Chairwolf with a ceiling that has not even been touched yet, you'd think, with more time in store to see how it goes. So we could be in for a pretty good road to a Queen Elizabeth in Sydney with a few of those horses.
Be interesting if Sistina even lines up in a Cox Plate next year. Like, would she be 8?
She a long time down the track. Yeah, it's interesting, but
what's another Cox Plate? What's another Cox Plate for her? And while they go to a Cup next year, if they they didn't go this year.
I think the cup this year, bypassing it, was more to get that next preparation out of her. If next year is her last, then you can end on a cup because there's nothing left after that.
Gotcha.
That's probably what I figured.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Any horses to follow from the weekend, fellas? Anything you like? Anything sort of just come out of Sydney or obviously Melbourne?
I had a couple. I really liked it. Speaking of Vestino, Without a Fight was outstanding. Like, fresh off that massive layoff, he savaged the line. Yeah, and I looked at the sectionals today, and I think the reason that Via probably rated down was because the tempo to the 6 or whatever they did wasn't as strong. Therefore, he probably didn't send his biggest gaps, which then adds value to probably Without a Fight. And the Hawks 2-year-old in the Golden Gift is the 2-year-old that I really want to follow. Yeah, he probably should have won. I backed the winner, and I probably got every possible favour, and it just fell in. So next time I got a bad beat.
Kudos to you, Dino. I loaded up on Western Swindon.
I know. So it's the one to follow. So, that's the 2, Lou, that I want to fight. I don't know if you had anything.
No. I'll leave it to you.
Western Swindon, clearly the horse to follow. Iron Man, 3 wide from barrier 4. It's almost a miracle to be able to do that. But anyway, that's what happened. Molly Burke's a really good jockey, and she will continue to ride winners in town. So these things happen in racing, but 3 wide, fast tempo, and kept coming and only got beaten small margin. And yes, I did have a bet. But these things happen. The horse will go all right. Out of that trial, Dino, west of Swindon, was a Walla Coolmore horse there, Watterdon, I think it's called. I don't know the...
yes.
Yeah, Woderton, sorry, Woderton. It was meant to go around, and I'm not sure what's happened here. It was meant to go around on Wednesday. The race has
not enough
disappeared.
horses.
So I'm assuming not enough horses.
So,
and I know
exactly. So I think 4 of them were nommed and ran on Saturday in the Golden Gift. So it's a weird start of the year. I've never seen it like this ever, where I think it's been 3 or 4 maybe 2-year-old races. Just really strange.
Strange stuff. And then you've got Team Hawks had a horse in that race as well. They had a big push for. Don't know now, but very, very interesting. I do have it here somewhere, and I will find it. Gallo Nero. There you go. So one horse to put in your black book there. But the Spruik on the aforementioned horse west of Swindon was enormous, and I think it lived up to it, Dino. So a few horses there we can all follow. All right, let's dip our toe into some all-in betting. We're going to go to 1,000 guineas on Saturday. Louis, your man, Reese Goodwin, has got one in this. So good luck, Reese. Third favourite in a lovely cut. But we'll start with Alenia, $3. Utung, 6, lovely cut, $8. Benegal, 11. Matisse, 11. Longer the rest, Louis.
I want to take on the favourite in this. I think he's not a betting prospect. They come through 2 races. So Aliana over the mile on Derby Day, that first race, set up by Chris Waller, who loves winning that race, to win, and did so. The very next race was the Vanity, which the others come through over 1,400 metres. Just looking through their sectionals, and I know that the winner, Aliana, was eased down late and probably not extended to its full ability. It was a slow lead tempo. It did no work out the back. It peeled wide, had all the cover off the wind, which was playing a bit of havoc in the early part of that program on that day, and went past them visually really impressively, but I just think sectionally left a little bit to be desired, especially when you compare it to what happened in the Vanity. And I want to compare it to a horse like Benegil, or Benegil, however you say it, who's run an 11.36 last 2, which was 4th best of the day, and Aliana's run an 11.84. And the difference in the lead speed in both races between 1,200 and 600 was 11 lengths. They went 11 lengths slower in Aliana's race, and yet Benegil, whatever, has run X amount of lengths quicker in its last 200 off a hotter speed. So just diving into the sectionals for both races that were run 30 minutes apart from each other, I didn't find a lot to Aliana, and I just think she's too short. The one I want to be with is Benegil, who rattled home in that Vanity. And I've got to give a shout out to Reese's Lovely Cut, who was wide for the first majority of that race, got cover for a furlong, and then had to present wide, no cover again to make a run. Boxed on really well for the on-speed horses. The leader and outside the lead bottomed out and finished a mile off them, and it's the one that kind of stuck on and kept fighting. Zaitung, who won the race, is good as well, and probably deservedly in the market. But yeah, I was just keen to take on Aliana Gano and go with Benegil and maybe Lovely Cut at a price.
And Louis, you've got about 34 horses with Reese Goodwin. He's got 35 horses in training, and this is the only one you've managed not to fall into.
Yeah, and you know what? I was at the sales with him, and he bought 3, one of them for a client and 2 of them for his stable. And I told him to bid again on this one, and it went to 50,000, and he got it. And I'd found the other one for him, Let's Trot. And he said, "Well, you're coming in both." I said, I probably only got the coin for one at the moment. I'll just stick with the one I picked out, who's one of Bairnsdale Maiden. And this thing's lobbing into a Group 1 and it's fucking second racing preparation. So, the joys of horse ownership.
Oh, I love it. You've got the better name, though, Lou. That's all that matters.
That's what I think, anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's a real winner at the end of the day.
Pays bills, so that's great, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. It's a good race. I agree with Louis. It's just... it's sort of recency bias in the sense of J-Mac, Waller teaming up in a Group 1. They had a pretty good record in this race, and it's $3. I thought the same, Louis. Aliana's been exposed to probably 2 soft tempos in its last 2 wins, and it's come over the top. The query I have is horse like Church at the moment is probably a good example. It did that and then finally got exposed to probably a better tempo when it got to Flemington. He blew them away. So some horses can do that, look really good. Slow tempos do nothing on a fast, and then they can go the other way, go even better. So I thought at the price, you can just wait to race day. You probably get similar. I thought Zaitung, you can tie that horse and Aliana through Dominetta. not much between them. Up to 16, long preparations, the query. Lovely cut, the big tick for it. It's been around Caulfield. I think that's massive as well. Aliana hasn't. And some horses we've seen this carnival just dead set, don't go a yard there. Broadsiding, and obviously the other Godolphin horse, Zardozi. So I thought there was value in Lovely Cut. $8 probably starts second favourite here, but Aliana looks probably hard enough to beat Gannon.
Well, I'm with you, Dino. You stole my thunder there on the Caulfield Lovely Cuts thing. It's a really good point. I think that's just why we're going to have a little bet. Nothing big, just something each way and cheer her. Our man Reese. That's 1,000 guineas. Anything else you guys want to have a look at? We'll go to Sir Rupert Clarke naturally, wouldn't we? Before we head to Newcastle or anything else. Another will, $3. Jimmy Star, $3.50. Southport Tycoon, $5. Charm Stone, 11s. Climbing Star, $15. I'll kick off. I think Climbing Star is a pretty big price there, around $15 mark. We have something on it each way. And Jimmy Star, I haven't seen the weights yet, but I'd imagine we'd probably better weighted than Another Will this time around, Dino.
Yeah, I'm trying to think why Another Will come out on the weekend. Was it a proper issue? I'm trying to think why.
For this, I think.
Yeah.
Jamie wasn't aboard. Jamie wasn't aboard as well.
I can't remember because it was scratched on race morning. I don't know if it was a temperature. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and triple check. That's the only question I had. Talking of Caulfield horses, Jimmy Star's just an out-and-out Caulfield horse, which is strange with his pattern. Thought he was terrific last start, but that wasn't the goal. I think this is the goal. And like you said, Gano, there's not much between Jimmy and Another Will. And I think Jimmy's going to get in much better at the weights, guessing. That could be wrong, but in my mind, that's what I'm thinking.
That's the case, at least on the last start.
Yeah. So I'll end away with Jimmy. I think he just loves Caulfield. Just got to draw a gate. He probably wins the race. Do you want to try me 350? No, just wait till race day, Lou.
I'm going to go the other way. I think Another Will has Jimmy Star's measure, but I'll preface that by saying, I really want to see the weights and how they're lining up against each other. They came through the same race. The party was also there. That was the Damien Oliver on Derby Day. Another Will just gets this habit of somehow getting terribly held up at the moment in a few races. It was held up 500 to the 300, finally got out. Jimmy Star and Steph Hardy had every chance to beat it, and it ran away from them on the line. I know that Jimmy Star's a better Caulfield horse. Another Will's got a great Caulfield record as well. I actually can't get 50 cents between them unless there's a huge weight difference. I think Another Will has Jimmy Star's measure at the moment. You go back to the Toorak, Another Will got taken on in front by Bankmore at about 100 million to 1, and Antino comes and puts them away, but Another Will kept on fighting really well through the line. Yeah, I like it better than Jimmy Star, and obviously weight dependent. I think I know I'd rather be with Another Will. The other one is Southport Tycoon, who you just forget that Golden Eagle run. It was last in the race, up the fence, making good ground. That's a complete forgive. Pryor was handy in the Sydney Sprint and stuck on well in a race where not a whole lot changed. They kind of finished how they raced in run, and you just got to go back to that Group 1 victory earlier in the prep at the Valley, and there's still another really good run in this horse somewhere. Again, weight dependent, trying to see how they sit under handicap conditions, but it might be one that when people start battling between Another Will and Jimmy Star, that just somewhat gets a bit full, and Southport Tycoon, and I want to take on Jimmy Star.
Well, Louis, my man, you've dominated all spring, but it's going to end. So we'll have a case. I'll take Jimmy Star. You can have Another Will, and we'll have a case bet on it.
Deal.
Right.
Another Will rocks up with 65 kilos.
Yeah.
Louis' cars.
I'll be asking you what beer you want before the race. Don't worry.
We'll set the budget between $60 and $80. That's fine. And if I win 80, if you win 60.
I thought you were a VB man for 49 a case. That's where I was thinking.
20 years ago. I'm with Climbing Star at a decent price. I think she'll go all right, and I think Jimmy Star wins the race. I'm just not convinced $3.50 is the right price to take at the moment. I think you will get closer to sort of $5 come Wednesday, and then we can chip away at that price once we get there. Anything else in Melbourne you want to cover, lads? Any other races you're interested in, or are we just going to head to... We'll go to Newcastle. We'll go straight to the Hunter. Why not? That's the race that we're going there for. Far Too Easy. $4.50 Private Eye. $6 Briasa. $8 Coal Crusher. $8 Coda Healy 11s. Royal Merchant 11s. Dino. Along with the rest.
I've tried my best to find out if Private Eye is actually turning up in this. I vividly remember seeing it somewhere that he was pushing on to this race. I don't understand how he's not favourite for this. I know Far Too Easy was outstanding in Kosciuszko.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
But
Private Eye's not favourite.
Yeah, like a horse that was running in the Kosciuszko's favourite over a horse that was running in an Everest. Like that just... I'm just thinking that's the market not knowing maybe if Private Eye is going to go here 100%, because I think if he was 100%, he'd be heavily backed. Last start, Russell Boarding, he got beaten 3.7 lengths by Bella Nipotina. That was on a shifty, wet track, albeit it still set a good 4. That's not his go. Horse that ran second was Sunshine in Paris, who come out and won down the straight. Bella ran third in that race. That has to be the best form. Like, if that's not the best form for this race, I'll give it away. Brasta comes out of a midweek. Far Too Easy, yes, terrific in a Cosy. Front page probably makes that form look really good too down the straight. So that's probably a good point for it. But I thought Private Eye should be favoured. It's my best all in play. The early tip there. I think it's the one to beat.
I'm going to go Briasa. So there had to have been a chance or a number of chances during a Melbourne Cup Carnival for this horse to go to Melbourne and run in a race, and it didn't. They went to the midweeks. They told Tyler Schiller to go out there, have fun. He did exactly that. It put them away by 1,000, as it should have, right? Like, obviously. My theory is that did they have this race in mind and they didn't want to go and travel up and down? I don't know. I don't know why they went to the midweeks, but they did. They won really impressively, and now you're getting $8 in a race, guys, that really has a long tail. The top of the market, those three. And maybe even, where do we stand on Coal Crusher? We can touch on in a second, who was going really well and then was dreadful last start. I had a look at the stewards report. There was nothing for it. So, does it bounce back or is it cast? Who knows? I don't know. But I just think it's a really long tail to the race. There's probably only those 4, maybe 3 chances. And if that's the case, at $8 for a horse who's unlucky not to be undefeated when third behind a Straka, that form ties into a Golden Eagle. I just think that's a really good price. And you've mentioned it already, Dino, that the favourite's coming out of a country champs league, which is great, don't get me wrong, but that's a really restricted race. You know, you can only run in that if you're a country horse, and it's another race probably with a long tail. So, yeah, respecting Private Eye, can't have the favourite. And if it's a race in 3 or 4, $8 for Briasa is a great each-way play.
I'm with you, Louis. I've got a lot of time for Briasa. I think he wins the race. Is $8 the right price to take? Now, I was coming into this saying no, and then now the more that you guys have discussed it, the more I probably think maybe he is, because I think Far Too Easy is the wrong price. Private Eye should be $450. It should even be $350 if we had some confirmation the horse was going there. But Briasa at $8, yeah, and we know the horse is going there, even better.
Where else is it going? Right, it has to be.
It's going there.
Yeah. Well, it's the one that it's GF that makes sense, whereas others are probably a little bit of a.
It's now as well. This race, like that's a big charity.
That did change their mind.
Win.
Yeah, no, I think Briasa can win this race. I think $8. We just have to, if you like the horse, sort of like Louis and I do, like Louis is keen. I'll just half stake now, so I'll have something on now, and then I'll have something on later as well. Because if all these horses do turn up, there's a chance they might put up something a little bit bigger. But in saying that, you're right. New kid on the block, they'll cuddle it. And, Tab will cuddle it. And if Tab cuddle it, everyone else will cuddle it early. So, yep, I've now talked myself into it. Briasa.
The weights of that race is interesting. It's not a handicap, is it? But the weights, I'm trying to think, because I'm looking back at last year, and obviously King of Sparta and Mazu carried 59, 57.5, but you had horses like Military Expert and a couple of Opal Region that carried 52. So I'm thinking maybe Private Eye and Co being in this race is going to allow Briasa to get into it ridiculously light. But I can't really find the conditions of the race. It just says a quality. So
yeah, it's a quality.
So I'm just thinking, like, I don't know if it's obviously not a handicap, but I'm thinking if you got the horses like a Private Eye and that in the race, it's probably going to help the Briasa out extremely well to get into this ridiculously. Like, it could be 51. Coming off a midweek, so this could be a plan like you mentioned, Lou.
Right, lads, let's move on to some other races. Any interest in Max Lees Classic, Spring Stakes, the Beaufort, anything else? Dino, Louis?
I want to do more on the Max Lees. That's the 2-year-old race. The favourite is a horse that comes out of a Gold Coast trial by a trainer that, forgive me, but I'm not too sure who it is. So I really want to do that race a bit more.
What a name.
Yeah, Yeah, a Snoop Dogg. So I want to look at that. But the bet that I want to have is in the Beaufort. Relentless Voyager finally should turn up. I've been waiting for this horse for 2 weeks. I know it's got a little bit of feet issues, but it ran 8th in an E-bore. 7th was One Smooth Operator, and 6th was Seeking. They turned up and murdered the Geelong Cup and the Bendigo Cup. This wouldn't even place in them cups, I don't think. Wycliffe, Spirit Ridge, they're okay horses. State of Reps going terrific. But 2,300 metres, it's a 2,400 metre to 2,800 metre horse. Fresh, $3.50. If it turns up and it's backed, Relentless Voyager is the best anywhere around the grounds on Saturday.
He'll turn up and he'll win and win well.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's not I'm just hearing whispers that his feet aren't the best.
Just stop. He'll win.
It's Australian bloodstock horse, which it makes sense.
Scratched for the Beaufort. I think it was entered for 1,900 metre race, and I declared it as a best bet, and the only query was the distance. And I'd suggest that they probably thought similar, and this gun will go 2,300 and just win that in front of the home crowd, and however many owners are going to be up there on what's a huge day, and $3.50 probably it's probably a bet. I think, and you'd imagine that the race probably falls away a little bit. Like I looked at some of these norms, some of these horses that are even like $34, like they should be at $340. So
no, I agree.
Yeah, best of luck to all the crew there involved in Relentless Voyager. Dino, I assume that horse is going to be your all-in play of the weekend or the week.
Yes, that and Private Eye. If I knew Private Eye was going to make it,
only have one,
Voyager, it's me. Yeah, I know. Relentless Voyager will make it. I've been waiting too long for it. It's got to go on top. Lou, you got any other races?
Nah. I was going to say, didn't we run in the Beaufort a couple years ago?
No, we had a
nomination.
I think we had a nomination.
We nominated.
Yeah, that's all that counts. It's
We
nominated.
will go around to Canterbury on Friday night, though.
Will
1,900 metres, just zoom around there. And the text messages already start to flow in about, from all the geniuses like Carts and Luke. Do we want to draw inside, outside? So it's not the Cox plate, you don't get to choose.
How about the we should get Nash. Fair dinkum, we'd be lucky to get Greg Ryan or anyone at the moment out of what are we talking about? We'll take who we get.
Nash.
Fair dinkum.
I haven't seen that.
We'll get Nash.
Nash or Timmy Clark.
I said that. We'll get Nash.
Could be
it's a 900 metre race on a Friday.
J-Mac, Nash, Timmy Clark.
All the horses that are meant to go there, they're going to the Beaufort. So it could be we just turn up and just go for a gallop.
I actually called James this morning and
said,
it is raining. You want to ride? And he just laughed and hung up. So he won't be riding. Nash, very suitable. Can we get him on, Dino?
Yeah, we can. I'll
read that. Celestial Fury, of course. And if you
just got to tell him it's a different horse's name.
If you get Nash on, you're going to have to stump up the sling. Just be prepared. Just be prepared.
I'm the Melbourne Carnival. Louis the one with money.
Nah.
Mate, I'll take Zach Waddick. Doesn't bother me. Righto, lads. Best all-in play of the week. Just recap them, and then we're going to do midweek best bets. Go on, Lou. What's yours?
So mine was Briasa. I'll go Briasa in the Hunter.
Oh, great. Yep. Dino.
It's Ganno's. Relentless Voyager in the Beaufort for me.
Complete strip out. I've lost both of them. It's an absolute disaster.
Jimmy Star, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, Jimmy Star. Bang. There we go. That's how confident I've got 3 of them this week. Jimmy Star, mine. So make sure you do comment in the GoTipOff.com YouTube channel. Comment underneath who you think is going to win the Sir Rupert Clarke and why. And you will go in the draw. You'll go in the duck race. And hopefully you get that up and you'll get 100% of the multi. And the better your comment, the more weight you'll have in the duck race, apparently. Or the less weight you'll have in the duck race. But the more
weight's better.
Comment will be weighted. And if you're not confused already, let's go to best bets. I'll kick off. I was pretty keen on Congregation. Now, I'm not sure if the prices are up yet at Rosehill. Have you seen any prices yet, Dino?
No, they are not up yet. Not even on the page yet. 6 races, though. Big card.
Oh, that's a bit sarcastic. Well, I'm going to bring it up
I'm not complaining.
Nah. Oh, yeah, you still get paid the same. I tell you what, lay of the year, you and Haylock whinging about meetings being abandoned purely through only your own self-interest, nothing to do with anyone else. It's like, we've done the form. You guys still get paid anyway. What are you worried about?
Yeah, it's not about. It's like I don't know. It's like doing all the work for training all
What
week
about the
and
poor
rock up on
trainers
Saturday.
and the jockeys who don't get paid?
That's what I'm
Mate.
whinging for them.
Yeah, you'll win for
Anyway.
Australia at this rate. Race 5, number 2, Congregation, Dino, is my best bet of the day. No prices up yet. They could bet $5. They could bet $3. They could bet $8. I'm happy to bet anything to $3, Dino.
Yep, no prices up for Rosehill on Wednesday, but there are prices up for Hawkesbury on a Tuesday, and I like one in race number 4.
Alicia Roma.
No, I did. No. I think Suspect's a good chance, your horse. But race 4, number 14, Star of Paris comes out of a really, really strong rating. Newcastle maiden. A lot of these horses are probably looking for 2,000 in this race. It turns up, gate 9, offset that, and you'll be fine. Race 4, number 14, Star of Paris on Tuesday at Hawkesbury for me, Louis.
I'll go Rosehill race 6, number 7, Driftnet. Speaking of Nash, he'll be tuning up for Friday night here at Rosehill on a Wednesday, and he's on a Godolphin favourite in the. Oh, I don't know if it's favourite. I assume it'll come up in the market. Was good at the Kenzo first up. Got a good second up record. It's got a good record over the trip as well. Wide draw, but he'll overcome that. So race 6, Rosehill, number 7, Driftnet.
There it is,
I think that's even more confidence.
That's all in for the year 2024. Done and dusted. Make sure you do continue to subscribe because when we're back, you'll know about it. Thanks, boys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Can I do a quick shout out to Gannon, please? In the comments, YouTube, give us a 3-2-1 performances for the spring. I think Louis probably get most of 3 votes. Do that. But no, on a serious note, we should be back for the Autumn Carnival. Let us know what you want added, taken away to the program, to the show, what you want us to do differently. Appreciate everyone's contributions. Yeah, you can do that. They probably won't get through to management, which is us, but you can have a crack. But no, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. I think it's probably been our best season yet, boys, and that's been an absolute pleasure to jump on.
The views were wild on the Melbourne Cup show. You must have had the bots going or something, Dino. It's about 100,000.
Not me.
Nice choice for
probably
you,
Louis.
One of the most watched Melbourne Cup shows produced by any media platform online was us. That is like dead set. That's insane. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like none at all. Any all week. Like, and you guys keep tuning in. No, I echo Dano. It's been a great season. And we'll make sure we're back in the autumn for sure. Best of luck if you're having a play over summer. Like there's obviously the WA Carnival, these slot races in Victoria, plenty of Sydney stuff. Canterbury Friday nights will be good.
Yep, hit us up on Twitter. Yeah, if you've always got any questions, Dino will write back and answer them. If I haven't, just hit Dan.
Always.
He loves it. Dino, how was the races as well? Just so on a finish, I saw you had a little win at the races on the weekend.
That photo's not me. Copyright. I'm going to start suing it for defamation.
You most definitely should give your lawyers a call. That's all in 2024. Thank you everyone very much for their support. We'll be back. Bigger, better, stronger. Bye for now.